You are listening to audio from the Decidedly podcast. This episode is a highlight clip from this week's full episode. To listen in on the complete conversation, see the show notes for the link to the complete show. You can help us out by leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate every bit of your support. I'm Morgan McKittrick, your producer, and this is Decidedly.
You know, on one hand, when you shop, when you have like a retail experience, even online, even digital experiences, you want to kind of feel something. You know, a lot of times people shop because they're bored. They want to try something new. They want to do something different.
I will consciously pay more to have a good experience while I'm shopping. I don't like grocery shopping. I do not like it. I rarely feel as if I have the time for it. You know, I work a lot. The last thing I want to do is go, walk around, a dull, sterile, like all white Walmart that's got people running around and kids screaming, and
it's got that Walmart smell
I'm looking for.
Walmart has the Walmart smell.
Yeah. And just,
it's not bad. It just smells like Walmart.
Exactly. It's like, man, I got a few free moments and I've unfortunately got to spend it doing a chore. The last thing I want to do is have that chore be stressful. So I go to Central Market. And Central Market, it's kind of almost like a Whole Foods type thing owned by H-E-B. I don't know if they exist outside of Texas.
I don't even know if H-E-B exists outside of Texas, actually.
H-E-B might not even exist outside of Texas, but
I've never seen it anywhere else.
The best way I could describe it, if you've never been to a Central Market, is take Whole Foods approach to healthy, unique options, not something you're going to find at a Walmart or a Target. Very high quality produce, very high quality fresh meats, and, organic pasture raised eggs and all that really great stuff, and take it up a notch from there, and a wonderful layout, wonderful experience. They focus way more than Whole Foods, in my opinion, on creating an excellent experience in the store. The Whole Foods CEO because they started in Austin, even credited Central Market, said they were our biggest competitor early on. Might not be anymore because Whole Foods is more national. But having said that, oh my gosh, I go in there and it's just the way that they have the lighting and the way that they put all the fruit, and it just makes the area where the fruit is so colorful, and it just feels so full of life. I'm like, I could go in there just to get an apple and a banana, and I'm probably paying triple what I would at Walmart. And I do not care. I'm I'm just thankful. I'm like, at least I get to be at Central Market.
Yeah. No, it's really the experience makes such a difference. And I think, that's something you see with, on the other side of the spectrum, someplace like Aldi. So Aldi is almost, deliberately is on the other scale of that, right? They're very simple. It's all store brand, but that's because their whole reason to be is for people to save money. So they've set up the experience in such a way that they cut all the corners. But if you think about something like a Whole Foods, or even, like a Trader Joe's, right? They want it to be a pleasant experience because they know if it's pleasant, you will spend more time there. You'll put more things in the basket. And really, once you get something in the basket, it's all over. Because then endowment effect kicks in, and you start to sort of imagine, oh, yes, I really need these, whatever, fancy almond milk. I need the fancy almond milk.
Endowment effect?
Yes, the endowment effect basically says that owning something, or the intention to own something, makes us less willing to give it up. So a good example, IKEA effect, is a type of endowment effect. So, I co-create something. I put this furniture together from IKEA, and, in the experiment, they put it up in auction, and the people that had built the furniture, rather than just being given the fully assembled furniture, they wanted it to go for more. They bid more for it. They felt like it was worth more. Another example might be, if you think about, if you've ever lived in a house for a couple of years, 5 years, 6 years, and then it's time to sell the house. Real estate agents come up against this all the time. You think, oh, this house must be worth $500,000. And they go, well, no. Slow down. It's just closer to $425. And you think, well, Well, no, it can't be, because I've lived here and I'm bonded with this. My kids grew up here. You have an emotional attachment to it. You don't want to
Yeah.
give it up. You feel like it's worth more than it is. So endowment effect, like, there's a lot of different ways it can happen. Even in the digital sphere, they find that when you shop on an iPad or a phone and you swipe a product, you're touching a product. So, I'm not even like grabbing it and putting it in the cart. That makes me bonded to it. That makes it more
Mm.
likely that I'm actually going to buy something because I'm interacting with it, I'm touching it. Even things like haptic imagery. So haptic imagery, basically, if you have, like, this is a little remote control for my lights, but like, you see something with like a phone in someone's hand in an ad. That's haptic imagery. That makes you bond to it a little bit more than if they just showed the phone, because you see someone touching it. You see someone like owning it.
Okay. You can kind of put yourself in that.
Yeah.
You can kind of associate how this product relates to you and go, oh, I can imagine myself holding that. Okay.
Exactly. Well, subconsciously, this is kind of happening.
Sure.
And
Yeah. You're not thinking.
no,
that
you're
out
not
loud.
thinking into it.
Yeah.
But the same thing would happen.
What
if
a
you
nice
went into,
family enjoying this, their freshly cleaned Tide laundry detergent. Yeah. No one's thinking that out loud.
Yeah, no. I think the other thing to think about too is like putting things in a cart. So IKEA, I talk about this a little bit, how, IKEA basically has one floor plan, and they've got some like urban IKEAs that are a little bit smaller, but essentially you go out to this place, you drive out into like, wherever it is outside of the city where you live, in the suburbs someplace. And
Yeah.
it's a huge box that has a one-way system, has a track system, right? You come in and you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk, you go up the stairs and you walk some more. And then you go up and before you know it, like, you just have spent so much time in there. And because it's so big, I see a lamp and I think, oh, that's a really cute lamp. I don't know how I feel about that lamp. I kind of need to think about it. IKEA is huge. And I think it's something like, it's like 3 football fields to walk or something. It's crazy. So you say, oh, well, I'll put it in the cart just for a minute. I'll just think about it. If you notice, like in the grocery store, you'll see places where people have taken something out of their cart and just stick it up on a shelf, Walmart, like wherever it might be. You don't really see that as much in IKEA, because no one is going to go back and put it away. And they have it in the cart for so long. Some of the research has said that, people have started to, some of the research is done with things like concert tickets or like UNC basketball tickets, things like that. But this idea that you're creating pre-memories, like, oh, that lamp is going to look really nice in my office. I'm going to put it next to this thing.
Okay.
And then, you're kind of becoming bonded to it.
Envision it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think part of the problem with asking people, hey, would you buy this? I mean, I just posted yesterday about, Colgate toothpaste decided to do a brand extension in the 80s because frozen food was just getting sold like hotcakes. Everybody wanted frozen food. So Colgate came out with beef lasagna. Colgate. It's like Colgate beef lasagna. Now, Colgate is a big company, Colgate Palmolive. You cannot tell me that they didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on research. And they talked to people and they said, would you buy this beef lasagna? And those people are probably like, yeah, sure. But the problem is, people will say one thing and do something else. That's a problem in marketing. That's a problem in life. It's a problem in relationships. This is the whole thing, because people don't really know what's motivating them. They just know what they're going to respond to. So I guess it's not really answering your question, because you're right. I think it does depend on the product, the market, who they're going after, how much they're trying to like extend the brand, what the products might look like, where do they have authority now? How do customers trust them? All of that kind of stuff. But they really just need to think about the psychological side of that, as well as things like brand architecture, right? So if I walked into a store that I like, an Aldi, like, you trust Aldi to have something that's really low price. When you're watching your budget, you walk into Aldi and that's where you buy your staples. Now, if I walked into Aldi and all of a sudden they still had my staples, but they had like a row in the middle that had, I don't know, like steaks that cost $50. Yeah. How am I going to feel about all the budget stuff? It's going to affect the existing product perception too. Am I going to think all of a sudden, well, if they can afford to sell this, they're selling $200 bottles of champagne in the middle of Aldi, are they really giving me the best price they can on all of this cheaper stuff? So that's the other thing. It's like when you stretch in one direction, you kind of stretch away from the other direction too.
Thanks for making the great decision to listen in to this week's episode highlight. If you want more of what you just heard, see the show notes for the full episode. As always, for the latest decision-making tips, find us on decidedlypodcast.com or on Instagram @decidedlypodcast. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter from the link in the show notes. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review as well. We read all of your comments, so if you learned some decision-making tips today, let us know. Until next time, this is Decidedly. Insights, advice, and comments provided by Sean Smith, Sanger Smith, and speakers identified as part of the Decidedly podcast should not be considered recommendations. Speakers not identified as members of Decidedly are expressing their opinion, and their statements should not be construed as reflecting the views of the Decidedly team. This podcast is produced solely for informational purposes, not personalized advice.